Discussion and debate. Building an argument. Unit 9. Task A. Read and discuss. Listen to the reading and follow along in your textbook. The reading introduces the topic and some of the key ideas you will need to develop your argument. As you listen, think about your own views on the topic.
The ongoing debate about the viability of capitalism and the call for its replacement with a more equitable economic system is a topic of increasing relevance in modern society. Capitalism, characterized by free market principles, private ownership, and consumerism, has led to significant economic growth and innovation. In the capitalistic system, corporate power is seen as the driver of innovation and efficiency through the freedom it provides for entrepreneurial endeavors. For instance, a tech startup can rapidly grow into a global corporation. Companies such as Apple or Google, which have revolutionized technology and communication, would not exist without the competitive and innovative environment fostered by capitalism. However, critics of capitalism point to the growing wealth gap and income disparity as evidence of its inherent inequalities. Wealth distribution under capitalism often favors the affluent, adhering to the adage that the rich get richer while leaving behind lower socioeconomic groups. Advocates for a more equitable system propose economic reform that emphasizes social welfare and a more balanced distribution of resources. They believe that an alternative system could better address societal needs, ensuring that the benefits of economic growth are shared more widely and equitably. The discussion around replacing capitalism involves complex considerations of both economic efficiency and social justice.
Task B. Comprehension check. Consider each question and use information from the reading to develop your response. Think about how these ideas could be used to support either side of the argument. Task C. Vocabulary building. Complete the vocabulary activity. Pay attention to how each word or phrase is used, as you will be encouraged to use this vocabulary when you present your argument. check your answers. Task D. Useful idioms. Complete the idiom activity and check the meaning of each expression. Consider whether any of these expressions could be used naturally in your argument. Now check your answers. Then take the vocabulary and idioms quiz. Task E. Discussion language. Study the discussion language and complete the activity. Practice using these expressions to help you structure and communicate your argument clearly. Task F. For and against. Listen to both model arguments and follow along in your textbook. Notice how each speaker states a position, develops reasons, introduces evidence, and uses the language from the unit. Consider which arguments you find most convincing.
Capitalism has contributed to economic growth, but it has also created serious inequalities that require fundamental change. A major concern is the wealth gap between different groups. Economic data published by the OECD in 2024 found that the wealthiest 10% of households own an average of 52% of total household wealth across OECD countries. Such income disparity and wealth concentration can limit opportunities for lower-income groups and reduce social mobility. Excessive corporate power can also allow large companies to influence markets and political decisions, reducing competition and weakening consumer protections. A more balanced system could level the playing field by creating stronger regulations and ensuring that smaller businesses and individuals have fair opportunities. Capitalism's focus on consumerism may also prioritize short-term profit over long-term social and environmental goals. A system that places greater importance on social welfare could better support communities while encouraging sustainable development. It could also help ensure that essential services, such as healthcare and education, remain accessible regardless of financial background. There is no denying that capitalism has contributed to economic growth. However, replacing it with a more equitable system could help address inequality while creating a more stable society.
Capitalism remains one of the most successful economic systems in history, and reforming its weaknesses is preferable to replacing it entirely. The free market encourages competition, innovation, and economic growth by allowing businesses and individuals to respond to changing demand. Economic data from the World Bank in 2024 identified private initiative as a major driver of growth and prosperity, while emphasizing the importance of competition and innovation for productivity. Private ownership also motivates individuals and companies to invest, create new products, and develop solutions to economic challenges. Replacing capitalism completely could reduce these incentives and limit future innovation. Problems such as inequality can often be addressed through targeted economic reform, rather than abandoning the system. Effective policies can improve wealth distribution while moving toward a more equitable system and maintaining the benefits of economic freedom and entrepreneurship. A growing economy can act like a rising tide that lifts all boats when governments create opportunities and provide support for disadvantaged groups. Economic progress can therefore benefit more people without requiring an entirely new system. I acknowledge that capitalism has contributed to inequality. However, improving capitalism through reform is a better solution than replacing it with a completely different economic system.
Task G. Comprehension check. Answer the questions about the model arguments. Identify the speaker's positions and evidence, and practice challenging one of their points. This will help prepare you for the rebuttal task later. Task H. Springboard. Read the quotation and consider how it relates to the topic. Introduce the quote and explain what it demonstrates. Consider whether the quotation could be used to support your own argument. Task I. Exploring evidence. Complete the evidence activity. Each unit introduces a different type of supporting evidence. Consider how this type of evidence can make an argument more convincing and how you could use it in your own argument. Now check your answers. Then take the evidence type quiz. Task J, supporting an argument. Develop a reason for your position and support it using the type of evidence introduced in this unit. This will give you practice connecting a reason with relevant supporting evidence. Task K, gathering data. Study the infographic and identify information that could support either side of the argument. Consider which facts or data would be most useful for supporting your own position. Task L, building an argument. Now bring together what you have learned throughout the unit. Choose whether you are for or against the discussion statement. Use the building an argument page to state your position and develop 3 clear reasons supported with relevant evidence. Use the evidence type introduced in this unit once in your argument, and identify your sources by giving the author or source title and the date. Where appropriate, try to incorporate the discussion language, vocabulary, and idioms you learned in the unit. When you have completed your notes, use them to record your spoken argument and post your recording to the Spoken Argument Forum. Do not simply read your notes, use them to help you explain your argument naturally. Finally, listen to another student's argument. Choose one point they made and record a rebuttal explaining why you disagree. Thank you for your efforts this week. See you in the next lesson.